Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is episode 13 of Let's Get Cooking, our cooking game mechanics series. Today we're going to be adding chef's comments or hints, whichever way you want to look at it, that pop up to tell you what to do. Later on we'll be possibly adding a settings menu where these can be turned off and other integration using them. But basically what they do is they tell you what to do next. So when you first start the game, they'll ask you to open up your menu, your recipe book, and select a recipe, and so on and so forth. You'll get the idea as we go along. Okay, so first of all we need to go to our, just get the project page up. We need to go to our content drawer, our blueprints, and our interfaces. And you'll have your BPI HUD. Okay, we've got quite a few here already. We're going to add a new function. And it's going to be called, let's say, let's call it chef's comments. It could be comments, messages, it could be whatever you want. We put it in the same HUD category. Okay, now in here we will have an input of type text, and we're just going to call it a comment. Let's try and keep the naming the same all the way through. Okay, compile and save that. We can go ahead and close that. We don't need that anymore. And we can now go and open up our function library, which we'll find in our core blueprints, crazy cooking function library. And I'm just about to open that up. Okay, we're going to add a new function to that, and we're going to basically call it the same, add chef's comment, and the same again, it's going to have an input of a text, and we're going to call it comments. Just the same as last time. Okay. And what we're going to do is going to right click, or you can drag it in. You've got your get HUD, you can drag your get HUD in. Remember to get your world context. Like I say, sometimes if we don't do that, this could fail. And then we're going to, from the HUD ref, we're going to say add chef's comments message. Make sure you've got the message, one with the little envelope on it, and we're going to simply do that. Okay, so that's that. Now we are going to go to our data asset. Go to our data folder, data assets. We're going to choose our recipe, PA recipe, the main one, not yet one of the children of that. And I am just bringing up this, my other one here. Let's have a look. Okay, and here we're going to add a new variable. So add a variable, and we're going to call it stage comment. And it's going to be a type of E prep stages that we did before. And we're going to go across to the right hand side here. We're going to turn it into a map, and the output is going to be text. Compile that, go ahead and close that. Back in our blueprint library, which is why I didn't close it earlier. We're going to add another function. Let's call it give stage comment. We're going to have an input of stage, which is going to be our e_prep stages. We're going to add another one, and we're going to call it our data asset. And that's going to be of type DA_recipe. Which we choose recipe. Okay, first thing we'll do is go drag off here and say is valid. Is valid. Make sure we choose one with a question mark. And if it's valid, we're going to do a branch. We're going to drag out of here and we're going to say stage get stage comments, this one here, and from here we're going to do a find. We're going to find the stage. We can do, we won't know by that if we prefer, like so. We're going to feed that into the branch. So if we found it, we're going to do something. If we haven't found it, we're going to do something else. Okay, we're going to add an output, and we're going to call it comment, and that's going to be of type text. If it's true, in other words, it has found it, we're simply going to pass through this comment. Control copy and paste this. If it's false, we're going to set that to 0. And if it is not valid, we're going to give a default message, because it means you're very early in the game or you finished a particular recipe. I'm going to copy and paste this from my other one just to help. I'll put press tab to open your recipe book. You can name that as you like. Now make sure you click on that. Let's have this as a pure function. Okay. Just want to check whether this was a pure function. No, the other one wasn't. This is the only pure function. Compile, and that's all we need to do in there. So we've got some functions set up ready to get going. So before we forget, let's go into both of our data assets for our recipes. So go to your recipes, and you'll see you've got the stage comments. Now I'm going to copy and paste them from my project file just to save you guys a little bit of time, but I will show you what I've written. Okay, I want that copy. Okay, that won't copy, so I'm going to have to add manually. Okay, so first of all, we're going to add one, and we could call it spread butter. We're going to add them all, and then we'll put the comments in. Next one, spread jam. Third one, completed. And we're going to leave the fourth one as none, as a default. I'm going to copy and paste just to say, okay, so the next part is where we put the message. So obviously, spread butter on the bread. Next one, spread jam on your bread. And the next two are going to be the same message, so the default message. Open your recipe book to select a new recipe. You can do that for both of them. save that. Go ahead, open up your other recipe. Now you should be able to pretty well copy and paste these, but there will be a slight difference, but it doesn't matter what order because it searches them. So let's go ahead and see if it allows us to copy and paste. Yes, it does. Okay, so where we've got none here, we're going to select toast bread in toaster. And I simply wrote so you can overwrite the none, this one for a minute. We'll add another one in a moment. Toast bread in toaster. The only reason that is because you can't have, because it's an enum, it wouldn't allow me to add it with the first one that comes up, which should be none. So we have to do it like this. So you can go ahead and copy or open your recipe in the recipe book. Okay, so we have our data assets all set up. Make sure you're saved. You can go ahead and close those. And if I went a bit quick, you can pause the video there and have a quick look. Okay, sorry about that, I had somebody come to my door. Okay, so we've set up our data assets. Now we need to have a place to actually put our new widget, but let's make the new widget first. So again, I'm just going to bring the correct thing up in my project here. Okay, so we're going to go to our UI folder. We get a new user interface. Widget blueprint, user widget, and we're going to call it WDT underscore chef comment. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open that up. We save it. Okay, so in here we have a few things, but it's very similar to the one we did for the normal pickup messages. So if you've been following the series, you'll understand. We're going to have a size box. I'm going to add everything first, and then we'll go ahead and then set all the settings for it. So we're going to have on top of size box a horizontal box, and inside this horizontal box we're going to have a size box, and inside that size box we're going to have a text. Then we're going to add another text, and then we're going to add another size box, sorry, my apologies, I am telling you lies here. Okay, size box, first size box, let's delete the text box for a minute. Okay, let's start again. Okay, so we've got a, in that size box, my apologies, let's go back. We're going to have a border. I'm looking too far ahead. Then we're going to have a border. And then we're going to copy the that first size box and paste it. So we've got a border. Let's put desired on the screen. You'll see it's very small. So we have a border, size box border, border, size box border. In the middle border is where we put our text. In this border here, the one without the size box. You see we've now got a little bit of something going on here. So let's go and change some settings. In our size box, we're just going to have a height override of 128. Okay. In our first border, we're going to go back to our artwork, and you can get all these from the link in the description. We're going to choose the left, make sure you highlight the border, and we're going to have no padding, and we're going to add that because I deleted not put 0, that's why I got that error. And in the size box for that, we're going to have a width override of 125. So go to the size box here, add a width override 125. And you'll see you've got start of your speech bubble. The second border, we're going to do the mid. Just make sure you've got the border selected, go to mid. Again, 0 in the padding. Okay, I don't know why that's going to be. Oh, I know. Okay. The text, you want to make sure you highlight the text. Let's set the text up, make sure that no padding. And let's go ahead and set it to our colors that we've been using. I believe it's that one for me. And your font. And the size is 24. So that should be fine. The next size box, we have a width override in this one of 38, it's a small one. And in the border, we're going to set the right speech bubble. Again, 0 in your padding. Set your right speech bubble. Okay, so basically this will get longer the longer the message. I think that's all we need to do in the visuals. Let's go to our graph. And in the graph, there is absolutely nothing, okay? The only thing you need to make sure is go to your text block. We're going to name that as comment underscore txt and make sure that is a variable because we will need to access it. And you can see now we have it as a variable here. That's all you need to do in here. We're going to leave it open just in case we need to do anything, but I don't think we do. So now we're going to go to our UI and we're going to find our main HUD UI. This one here. Now I'm just going to open up the same UI in my block here. So you have this. We're going to add a border. Add a border. No, I added an image. We don't need a border. Add an image. We don't need a border yet. I'm going to add that to the HUD. Oh, to the canvas panel. Okay. And the anchors for this, so let's select it. The anchors are going to be bottom left. And the position X and Y is going to be 10 and -10. I just want to have it a little bit off the bottom, like so. If you don't like that, then up to you. Have it as size to content. And we're going to go back to our artwork and we're going to choose our Chef 256. I'm going to add that to hand. Now you see it's 256. It's quite a nice size to have at the bottom. If you want it smaller, go ahead, make it smaller and do any other adjustments. Like that, my phone's going silly. Right, turn my phone off. So now we have that. We are going to add another border. We're going to add a border to our canvas panel, which will probably stick away at the top corner. Yes, it does. And again, we're going to set the anchors for that to be bottom left. Stick it down there. Now I found the position for this is 248, worked well, and -133. So it sort of puts it up there. Make sure you go to draw as none, we don't want to see it, and click size to content. Now to check this is in the right place, what we can do is we can go up here and look for our set comment, and we can drag one of them and drop it in the border, and you can see this looks to be a little high, and I don't know why. Let me just oh, I know why it's okay, because we've got an animation handling it. Okay, so we've got an animation handling this, so we're going to go ahead and make an animation. Leave it there, we can adjust that if needs be in a moment. So we go to our animations tab here, we're going to add an animation, and we're going to call it scale comments with 2 N's. Click on the scale comment, then click add, and we're going to click the border. But before we do it, let's give that border a proper name. We're going to call that Seth's comment border, and we're also going to make sure it is a variable. Why didn't that? Oh, why didn't that type? Wrong. Okay, so Seth's comments border, like so. Compile it. Okay, so now if we go back to our animations, click on our scale animations add, we're going to select our Seth comments border. I'm just checking what I've added in here. Okay. We're then going to add to here. We click on this little add sign. We're going to add a pivot. We're going to open up the pivot. You see it'll be set at 0.5, 0.5. We're going to set it to 0. Okay. And we are then going to add a transform. Okay, and we're going to look for our scale. We're going to start the scale at 0, tab and 0, and we are going to go ahead to about 1.5 seconds and work quite nicely. And we're going to set the scale to 1, 1. So you see it scales from the center. It is a little bit out, so I'm going to adjust the sizes on this a moment. I don't know why that's a little bit out. Okay, so that looks like it's going to work fine. Make sure you compile and save that. And I want to check in my other project why we appear to be having a little problem with that. Let me bear with me one moment. I just want to see whether I've missed a setting. I don't want to show you wrong. Let me just have a quick look here. Let's make sure our pivot is correct. 0.5. Okay. This should have automatically. Okay, so in the pivot for this, it should be 0.5, and it's a key, so that should be fine. Have I got the settings wrong? It should be 0, 0. There you go. That's where the problem was. The alignment is 0, 0. So now if we run our animation, you can see it comes out from the center of this mouse, which is what we're aiming to get. Easy to overlook. So if you're getting the same problem as me, make sure in the alignment, your text comment border is 0. Okay, so for now, we can now go ahead and delete the WDT text comment. We don't need that in there. Possibly causes problems later. So we're done with that, I believe, because I think we're doing all of the, I'm just going to double check. Yeah, we're doing all of the work inside our HUD. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to open up our HUD. We've got our blueprints, core blueprints, crazy cooking HUD. And again, I'm just going to open the same one up in my reference project. Okay, so we have in our interfaces, in our HUD interfaces, we've got our add chef's comment. So we're going to double click that to bring that up here. We are going to promote this to a variable straight away. Great. We're going to drag out of here and go text is empty. We can check to see if there is anything in the text. And we're going to do a not boolean just to make things a bit easier for the crossing of lines. We're going to do a branch. So we're checking if this text is empty or not. Remember, we're doing it back to front. So if it's empty, this will say true. If it's not empty, this will say false now. Okay. We're going to then add a new variable, and we're going to call this comment ref, and that's going to be of our, call it our chef's comments widget that we just made an object reference. Compile that, drag that in, and get that as an convert to validated get. Okay, so offer the true here. So we are going to say if it's valid, we are actually, let's do the not valid first to make life a little bit more sensible for you. We're going to create a widget. And the widget is going to be of chef's comment. Oh. And we're going to set our chef's comment reference. Okay. So. And Yes, so what we need to do is in our comment, I've forgotten, we do need to have a function. There's nothing in the event graph, don't believe, no. So we're going to make a quick function. So go to your chef's comment, make a very quick, simple function. I'm just going to say chef's comment, all the same, and it has an input. I'm going to call it comment, and it's going to be of type text. We're going to drag our comment text out, and we're going to say set text to text. It's a very simple function. That's all we need to do on there. And we're going to go back to our game HUD. Oh, here. We're going to get the message. So drag the message in, or the comment. We're going to drag out of here, and we're just going to say chef's comment. We call the function chef's comment. Make sure it comes from your chef's comment widget reference. So we're going to set the text inside of that. Drag off here. Just a couple of reroute notes. We're going to get our main UI, main HUD reference here. We're going to get chef comments border. First thing we do, we're going to clear any children, so it basically empties any widgets that may be in there. Once we've cleared the children, we're now going to add a child. So this basically is just a nice way of refreshing it. Make sure we're not got doubled up text or anything going on. And we can then put that content which comes from the chef's comment. You could drag in a new reference if you so wish. Then what we're going to do is we are going to get our main HUD reference. We'll be able to get our scale comment animation. We can say play animation forward. The target is our main UI, so make sure you set that. Everything else can remain the same in that. And then you put a delay for how long you want that message to be on the screen. Okay, I've set it for 5 seconds because I think that's enough, but if you want more, set more. If you want less, set less. Basically then you need to copy these, paste them, and here you're going to say play animation reverse. So we're reversing the animation, in other words, we're making it disappear. And then you are going to then go ahead and set that to null value or no value. So that's on the not valid of that output. Now, if this is false here, we want to reroute those. We want to come all the way over to here and reverse it. So in other words, the text is empty, so the next call it gives it an empty text, it just closes it, so we don't have a weird looking speech bubble. If it's valid, we just literally want to change the text and play the animation. Okay, so basically we copy these, paste them up here. So if it's valid, we go ahead and play the animation forward. We can copy this, setting the highlighted. Copy this. Make sure you set the target, which is your comment ref. And we then go ahead and you can put that into the delay. Yeah. Compile and save that. I believe that is all we need to do in here for that. So now we can go ahead and use these functions that we've made and call them. I believe we've already called them in our blueprint function library. So the place we're going to use them is we're going to open up our kitchen manager. And I'm just going to find all my references of this. Okay, so we're going to open up our kitchen manager. And the first place we're going to do this is in our event begin play. So go to your event graph, our event begin play up here. You've got your recipe book reference. Give yourself a small delay so that the player gets a chance to actually look around in the game before the message come up and pop off. Do that, and we're simply going to do add chef's comment, and make sure we call it from our library. You get like that. We're going to get our current stage, and we're going to say give stage comment. When you first start up, there may not be an asset. You could go ahead and drag current recipe into here. This will future-proof it for when we go later on to adding a save game. So that's the first instance we've used that. Next instance I've used it is if we go to your graph here, go to your toggle recipe, go to the very end. We're going to add it again. So add chef comment. Because we've opened our book now, and now we're going to say pin recipe to continue. We're going to add, so you can copy and paste that. We're going to add it again on when we close the book, and we're going to basically get this again, which is the give stage comment. And we're going to plug that into there. Okay. 2. And we're going to do it one more time. We're going to look for our functions. Have that. not really. Okay, so it's in our YouTube set stage complete here. I lost it there for a moment. And what we want to do here is we can drag this out a little bit. From here we're going to say add chefs. Comment from our library as before. And from here we're going to say give stage comment. This is also from our function library. We're going to drag in our current recipe. The stage is going to come from here, so let's just move these across a little bit from here, and we can just make this look a little bit neater. Let's stick a couple of reroute nodes in to bring this down around the bottom of that node, and that's final for that, I believe. Okay, so we've done all our work in our kitchen manager, we've done all our work in our HUD. Let's give it a go. So what I'm expecting to happen is when we start the HUD up, it'll first tell me to open the recipe book. So let's have a go. There you go. Press tab to open your recipe book. So if I press my tab, it'll say pin recipe to continue. Now we've got the blur here. Now if you don't want the blur, you think it's a bit too much, we can always remove that. But let's go ahead to the next one. We're going to pin a tab, close our recipe book, and then it will tell you the next stage, okay? And this will continue all the way through. If you want to get rid of the blur, quite simply open up your recipe book. So go to your UI, open up your recipe book, your background blur, and just go ahead and delete it if you don't want it. I prefer to have the message a little bit clearer. And that about does it for today's video. A little bit shorter today. The last few have been a little bit long. A little bit shorter, 45 minutes. As always, if you like my video, don't forget to hit that like button. If you've got any problems or you want to just chat, give me a message in the comment or come and join my Discord. If you really like what I'm doing, you can join my Patreon or buy me a coffee. All proceeds go to helping me make more videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.